going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Joe. This is my Python room. And today I'm just going to talk about, owning reptiles. And you thought about bringing home your first reptile. First of all, great, awesome, good for you. Go for it. Definitely do it. But before you actually go out and purchase your first reptile, let me just tell you this. Now, if you're only going to get one reptile, that's manageable. Absolutely. But if you're planning on getting more than one reptile, you need to have a lot of time to be able to care for these animals. Yeah, granted, some of these animals only eat once a week. Some of these animals, they eat once every other day. But aside from that, you got to be able to provide them with like a day and nighttime cycle. So if you don't have them in a room that has ample light, and you have to give them, you got to provide certain light bulbs. You got to be able to provide them with a day and night cycle. So 12 hours during the day, 12 hours during the night. Okay? And if you don't have the right equipment, you're going to find yourself having to wake up at certain times to switch the lights over manually. And yeah, sure, it's doable if you have one animal. Even if you have two or three, it's doable, absolutely. Or even if you have a partner, like if you have a girlfriend or if you have a boyfriend, and say you go to work or something, they can help you out. But if you're doing it by yourself, you need the right equipment, or else eventually it's going to get overwhelming. And what I mean by equipment is, so right over here, I have it looks like a surge protector, but it's a timer. Now, what it does is, I have it set so that at certain times, the daytime lights will turn on, and then at a certain time, those will shut off, and then the nighttime lights will turn on. Okay? Now, that was the greatest purchase I ever made. Okay? Honestly, I wish I did that sooner. Now, I just need to get more for my other tanks. Aside from that, now you're talking about, keeping the heat, at certain points, like the warm side and then the cool side. So you want to have the right kind of bulb with the right wattage. So, depending on the size tank that you have, if you have a 40-gallon breeder or if you have a 20-gallon tank, if you have a 40-gallon tank, you want like somewhere between 75 and 100-watt bulb, okay? And depending on the animal that you have in it, you're gonna want either UVA and UVB, or not. You gotta do your research. You have to. It's important. Otherwise you're gonna just be losing your mind. You're gonna be constantly worrying, constantly stressing. Oh, is the animal okay? Oh, switching the bulb and keeping the humidity up, because some of these animals do require high humidity. They do. Some of these animals do. Some of these animals don't. But the animals that do require high humidity, now you're talking about, making sure that you have the proper substrate in the tank, you have the proper, lid, because if you have an animal that requires high humidity, you want a tank with a lid that, if it has the metal screen mesh, you're going to want to cover it, you're going to want to tape it up. And then not just that, but you're going to want to add some moss into the tank. And then after that, even, you're going to have to spray down the tank a few times a day if you don't have a misting system. Now, there are misting systems out there for these tanks, and they're designed just like that timer right there, where at certain times of the day, it'll turn on and just automatically mist the tank. I think it's like for like like 30 seconds or a minute at a time, you know, just enough to, you know, get the humidity up. And yeah, if you don't have one of those, which I don't, you know, I'm actually, you know, I'm working on getting some of those for my guys. Because let me tell you, me personally, for the kind of job that I have, the kind of work that I do, luckily, they're okay with me stopping at home, you know, here and there, you know, doing what I gotta do, switching the lights, because these two tanks right here, those switch automatically. But these three here, these don't. Okay, so I still have to stop at home between 5 and 6 p.m. to put the nighttime lights on, and then I have to wake up between 6 and 7 a.m. to turn the lights on, the daytime lights. So I mean, it's not bad. It's okay, you know. But after a while, it can interfere with you know, certain things that you might have going on. You know, so you're gonna find yourself rushing around trying to take care of what you need to and take care of these animals. All right. However, it is very rewarding, you know, doing everything you need to do to care for these animals, and then, you know, when everything's all said and done, being able to take the animal out, you know, sit, hang out, you know, just, you know, develop a bond, develop some sort of relationship with the animal where the animal trusts you, you trust the animal. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So, if you're thinking about bringing home your first reptile, really think about it. Do your research, because the last thing that you want to do, the last thing that you want to be doing is doing your research while you have the animal in the tank with the wrong amount of humidity, the wrong amount of heat, the wrong size water bowl, the wrong size hide. Okay, these are all things that you got to consider when you bring home a reptile. So you bring home a reptile. Say you bring home a ball python, a reticulated python, a leopard gecko, a scorpion. Whatever it is that you're bringing home, you got to do your research. What kind of substrate does it require? What kind of heat does it require? Does it require UVA? Does it require UVB? Does it require infrared bulb? That's another thing. There's some animals that require the infrared, but then there's some animals that don't. You can use the infrared with some of these animals. You can, but it's going to hurt their eyes. So in the long run, later down the road, you're going to end up running into issues with the animal because of the bulb. So you don't want to do that. You got to think about everything. Do your research before you bring the reptile home. But good for you. Congratulations. Do your research. Bring home your animal. I want to see what it is. Okay? When you do, send me a picture. Leave me a comment. I want to know what reptile you brought home. Thanks for watching. I'm Joe. Have a great weekend. I'll see you in the next one.